Right. Earnings season is in full swing, and we're going to break down a really interesting one today.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It is Moderna's latest earnings call for Q4 2024.
Buckle up.
Buckle up, indeed. Because they're really trying to shed that COVID vaccine company image
That's right.
and become a true multi-product powerhouse.
Yeah, they're trying to become a one-stop shop for anything mRNA.
And their financials really reflect that transition that they're in right now.
Yeah, big time.
So revenue is down to $3.2 billion for the year with a net loss of $3.6 billion.
Big losses.
But you know what caught my eye, maybe this is just me, is their cash position.
Yeah.
They ended with $9.5 billion in cash, which actually exceeded projections.
That's a lot of dry powder
It is.
to be able to keep spending and investing in the future.
Exactly. So it sounds like they're aggressively managing costs while simultaneously pushing really hard on new product development.
Yeah, they definitely have a plan, and that $9.5 billion is going to help them get there.
So let's talk about that plan, because this is where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Moderna is laser focused, it seems, on launching 10, did you hear that 10 new products?
10?
Yes, in the next 3 years.
That's insane.
It's a lot. It is a serious statement.
I mean, that's like a whole company in 3 years.
Right.
Like, that's incredible.
So what areas are they targeting with these 10 new products?
So they're going all in on respiratory vaccines.
Okay.
So we're talking about a next generation COVID vaccine, a combo flu and COVID shot, an RSV vaccine for high-risk adults, and a good old standard seasonal flu vaccine.
Wow. So many vaccines.
So many vaccines, all mRNA.
That flu and COVID combo, though, that could be a game changer.
It's huge, huge.
Especially as we're, heading into flu season again.
I would love to only have to get one shot for both.
Seriously. Just get it over with.
Right.
But it sounds like they're not stopping there. They've got even more up their sleeves.
Well, they're an mRNA company, right?
Yeah.
So they're trying to apply this technology to as many things as possible.
So what else are they applying it to?
They're developing vaccines for CMV and norovirus, which could be huge public health wins.
Yes?
If successful. I mean, it's incredible to think how far vaccine technology has come, especially with these mRNA vaccines.
Right. Really? I mean,
From, almost nothing to, the forefront of medicine. It's incredible.
so what else is Moderna cooking up in their labs?
They're diving deep into rare diseases
Okay.
with treatments for PA and MMA, which are really, really tough diseases to treat.
Yeah.
And they're venturing into personalized medicine
Oh, interesting.
with a cancer vaccine for adjuvant melanoma.
Hold on. A personalized cancer vaccine.
I know, wild, right?
That sounds like something out of science fiction.
I know it's cutting edge stuff, but the early data is really promising.
So how does that even work? What is a personalized cancer vaccine?
So essentially what they're doing is they're training the body's immune system to recognize and attack specific markers on individual tumor cells.
Well,
Yeah, which is just a completely different approach than traditional cancer therapies like chemo and radiation.
that's incredible.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So it sounds like they're really pushing the boundaries of medical innovations. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But with so many different projects and irons in the fire, how are they planning to fund all of this? Especially with revenue down.
Right.
How are they going to do it?
Cost management. That's their mantra right now.
Okay.
They're projecting revenue between $1.5 and $2.5 billion in 2025, but they're really putting a huge emphasis on controlling costs.
Did they actually give specifics on how they plan to achieve these cost reductions?
They did.
Oh, okay. Lay it on me.
They are aiming for $1 billion in cost cuts over 2025 and 2026, which is a serious chunk of change.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, that's billion with a B.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And they said they're willing to cut even more if sales don't meet expectations.
So they're sending a very clear signal that they're serious about this.
Oh, yeah.
Staying lean, pursuing these ambitious goals.
Yeah, they have a vision, and they're going to do whatever it takes to get there.
It's a high-stakes gamble for sure, but the potential payoff could be absolutely enormous.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I mean, if they can pull this off,
Sky's the limit.
sky's the limit. Exactly.
I mean, they could be, one of the biggest players in the entire healthcare industry.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about.
And, they're betting that these new products, especially those with blockbuster potential,
Right.
the combo flu and COVID vaccine, will more than make up for that dip in revenue from the legacy COVID vaccine.
That's the hope,
Yeah, it's a really fascinating transition to watch.
for sure.
But we can't forget that they already have 2 approved products on the market.
That's right.
Spikevax for COVID-19, obviously, and now Resvia, their newly launched RSV vaccine.
So they're officially a multi-product company.
Exactly. They're not a one-hit wonder anymore.
No, they're not.
But the question is, how are these products actually performing in the real world?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah, we know they're approved, but are people actually using them?
Right, and how's the uptake?
Yeah, so Resvia just launched, so it's still early days.
Very early.
But
Yep.
what's been the initial feedback? Do we have any data on that yet?
Well, sales were pretty modest in 2024, but they're banking on significant growth,
Yeah.
both domestically here in the U.S. and internationally.
So they're hoping for big things from Resvia.
Oh, yeah. They think it could be a real blockbuster.
Okay, and what about Spikevax? With all the competition in the COVID vaccine market, are they still holding their own?
They acknowledged that lower vaccination rates, a shrinking market share, and just increased competition, like you said, have all impacted Spikevax sales.
Okay.
But, they're still optimistic.
Oh.
They believe that the COVID market is going to remain durable over time, especially with, these new variants that keep popping up.
They're not giving up on Spikevax.
Not yet, no.
Okay, so what about that next generation COVID vaccine that they mentioned? How's that coming along?
That's moving along really quickly, actually.
Oh, good. They've already filed for approval in multiple countries, including the U.S.,
Okay.
where the PDUFA date is set for May 31st.
So just a few months away.
Yeah, so we'll know very soon whether it gets approved.
Okay, so it'll be really interesting to see if this next-gen vaccine can recapture some of that market share
For sure.
or even become, the dominant player in the next wave of COVID vaccinations.
I mean, if it's significantly better than the current vaccines, it could be huge.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot hinges on the success of this next-gen vaccine.
Yeah, it does.
But let's shift gears for a moment and dive a little deeper into some of these other exciting developments that Moderna talked about.
Sounds good.
That flu and COVID combo vaccine, for instance.
I'm ready.
I mean, imagine you'd only have to get one shot for both.
That would be amazing.
What are the chances of that actually getting approved? Do we know?
Well, they've officially filed for approval,
Okay.
but regulators might require some additional efficacy data, specifically for the flu component.
Oh, before giving it the green light.
That makes sense.
Combo vaccines are pretty complex, so it's understandable that the regulators are being extra cautious.
Yeah, for sure.
They want to make sure it actually works.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to make sure it works.
Absolutely.
So it's not a done deal just yet,
No, not yet.
but the potential is definitely there.
Huge potential.
What about that personalized cancer vaccine for melanoma? That one seems like it could be a real breakthrough.
I'm really excited about that one.
Me too. So how far along are they with that?
So their INT program for adjuvant melanoma is showing really promising results, and the phase 3 trial is fully enrolled.
So are they going to have some data for us to look at soon?
Yeah, we might see pivotal data sooner than expected.
Okay, so potentially some big news on the horizon there.
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled.
But amidst all of this, positive momentum and excitement, they did mention a clinical hold on the norovirus vaccine trial.
Right.
Which sounds a bit concerning.
Yeah.
What happened there?
So the hold was triggered by a single case of Guillain-Barré syndrome in a trial participant.
Oh, wow.
And the FDA is currently investigating, but Moderna doesn't expect this to significantly impact trial timelines.
It's good to hear they're taking patient safety seriously.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But a single case triggering a clinical hold does seem pretty drastic, doesn't it?
It does. It really highlights the level of scrutiny these trials are under,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to new vaccine technology.
Sure.
But it's important to remember that Guillain-Barré syndrome can occur naturally.
Yeah.
And it's way too early to say whether the vaccine actually played any role.
That's a good point. It's important to keep things in perspective and wait for the results of that investigation.
Definitely.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. Financials, the new product strategy, the pipeline updates.
Yeah, we have.
But what are Moderna's key priorities for 2025? What are they really focusing on?
They outlined 3 main priorities.
Lay them on me.
First, drive sales of their existing products.
Okay, so Spikevax and Resvia.
Right, Spikevax and Resvia.
Got it.
Second, focus on getting those 10 new products through the approval process
Okay.
and onto the market.
Makes sense.
And third, continue to squeeze out cost efficiencies wherever possible.
Okay, cut costs.
Cut costs, that's right.
So it makes sense that they're prioritizing these areas,
Yeah.
It sounds like they're setting themselves up for a make or break year in 2025.
It's a pivotal year for them, for sure.
There's a lot of
There's a
potential,
lot of potential.
but also a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah,
It'll be fascinating to see how it all unfolds.
for sure. This is a company that bears watching.
Definitely. And speaking of fascinating, let's move on to our This Is Not Financial Advice segment,
My favorite part of the show.
where we throw out a completely speculative,
Right.
purely for entertainment purposes, trade idea
Yeah,
based on what we just learned.
just for fun.
Absolutely. So with that disclaimer out of the way, what crazy, but maybe genius, trade idea came to mind during this deep dive?
So Moderna is betting big on its personalized cancer vaccine platform, right?
Right.
So what if the adjuvant melanoma trial delivers?
Okay.
And we see those kinds of results across other cancer types.
Okay.
That could be a total market disruptor.
So you're thinking Moderna becomes the undisputed leader in personalized cancer vaccines.
Exactly.
Their stock skyrockets, and early investors become biotech billionaires.
Living the dream.
Okay, I like it.
So our totally irresponsible for entertainment purposes only trade idea is
Hit me with it.
buy calls on Moderna's stock expiring in, say, 2 years?
2 years, okay.
Yeah, that gives them enough time to get those trial results.
Okay.
If those cancer vaccine trials hit, the stock could go through the roof.
Okay.
But, disclaimer, this is pure speculation and we are not financial advisors, so
Right.
do your own research.
Don't come crying to us if this wild idea goes south.
Yeah, we're just having a little fun here.
Exactly. So now, before we get too carried away with our, imaginary fortunes, let's take a step back and consider the bigger picture here.
Good idea.
What does all this mean for Moderna's future? What is the big takeaway?
That is the question, isn't it?
It is. I mean, they're clearly making a very bold move to transform themselves from a one-hit wonder into a diversified biotech powerhouse.
Absolutely.
But it's a high-risk, high-reward strategy.
And very high risk, very high reward.
They're facing a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
From declining revenue to increased competition,
Mm-hmm.
not to mention the uncertainties around regulatory approvals.
Always a wild card.
Yeah, and the ever-changing landscape of the healthcare industry.
It's a wild world out there.
Yeah, it really is.
Especially in biotech.
But if they can successfully execute their plan,
Yeah.
the potential rewards are enormous.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they could really become a dominant force in the biotech world
Absolutely.
with a portfolio of life-changing therapies and vaccines.
The sky's the limit.
The sky is the limit.
If they can pull this off, they could be huge.
It really could be incredible.
Yeah.
It's going to be a bumpy ride, for sure.
Guaranteed.
I mean, there will be setbacks, there will be delays, and unforeseen challenges along the way.
That's just how it works.
That's the nature of the beast in this industry.
Yeah, especially when you're pushing the boundaries like Moderna is.
But for investors and patients alike, the next few years
Right.
will be crucial in determining whether Moderna can actually live up to its ambitious goals.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes this story so compelling.
It's a great story.
It's a classic tale of innovation,
Yeah.
ambition,
Mm-hmm.
and the relentless pursuit of scientific breakthroughs
And hopefully a happy ending.
with a hefty dose of financial risk and uncertainty
Of course.
thrown in for good measure.
It wouldn't be biotech without it.
Exactly. And for those of us who love to analyze and speculate
Yeah.
and dissect the complexities of the biotech world,
Yeah. It's a fascinating world.
this is one company that is definitely going to keep us on the edge of our seats.
It's a wild ride, that's for sure.
Yeah. So what does this all mean for you, our listeners?
So for the listeners out there, I would say this.
Yeah.
Moderna's at a crossroads.
Yeah.
They're making some really big bets, and the stakes are high. But
Wow.
if they succeed, the impact on global health
Yeah.
could be profound.
It really could be amazing.
Yeah, they could change the world.
Yeah. So keep an eye on their upcoming data readouts,
For sure.
their regulatory filings,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, those ambitious cost-cutting measures.
Got to keep an eye on the bottom line.
Yeah, exactly. Because as we've seen, things can change really quickly
Oh, yeah.
in this dynamic industry.
A biotech moves fast.
And as always, stay informed, do your own research,
Right.
and don't forget to consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
We are not financial advisors.
We are definitely not.
So don't take our advice.
No, don't.
So I have one final thought before we wrap up this section.
Oh, go ahead.
What if?
Yeah.
What if personalized medicine just becomes the norm? Like, what if in the future we don't even think about it as being special?
Right.
It's just how medicine is done,
Yeah.
where vaccines can prevent not just infectious diseases,
Right.
but also chronic illnesses and even cancer.
That's a bold vision, but it's one that Moderna seems determined to make a reality.
Yeah, And they have the technology to do it.
And if they succeed, it could completely revolutionize healthcare as we know it.
It would change everything.
It's a future worth striving for.
Absolutely.
And one that we'll be watching closely as Moderna continues to push the boundaries of scientific innovation.
This is going to be fun to watch.
It is.
I'm really excited to see what they come up with next.
Me too.
So with that,
Yeah?
we'll wrap up this part of our deep dive into Moderna's Q4 2024 earnings call.
Thanks for joining us, and be sure to tune in next time for another insightful and entertaining exploration of the biotech world.
It's a future full of possibilities.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes it so exciting to follow.
It's a constant reminder that the future of medicine is being written right now, and companies like Moderna are leading the charge.
They're definitely pushing the envelope.
Absolutely.
And who knows, maybe one of those 10 products in their pipeline will end up changing the world.
Or maybe it'll be something we haven't even heard of yet.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of scientific discovery. You never know what breakthroughs are just around the corner.
That's what keeps me coming back every day.
Me too.
Well said.
Thanks.
This has been a fascinating dive into Moderna's Q4 2024 earnings call.
Yeah.
We covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah, we really did.
From their financial performance to their ambitious product pipeline.
And of course, our completely irresponsible, not at all financial advice trade idea.
Which you should definitely not act on unless you're feeling extra adventurous.
Yeah.
But seriously, folks, we hope you enjoyed this episode and gained some valuable insights into Moderna's current state and future prospects.
Yes, we hope you enjoyed it.
As always, we encourage you to do your own research and stay informed about the latest developments in the biotech world.
Yes, stay informed.
Because this is an industry that's constantly evolving and full of surprises.
Absolutely.
And on that note,
Yeah.
we'll sign off for today.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time. It certainly seems like they're not afraid to take risks, and that's what makes them so intriguing to watch.
And it's not just about developing these groundbreaking therapies. It's also about making them accessible,
Right.
affordable, right?
Yeah, affordability is a huge issue in healthcare.
Yeah.
And that's where those cost reduction efforts become even more crucial.
Yeah.
If they can streamline operations and bring down those manufacturing costs,
Right.
it could have a major impact on the pricing of their products, potentially making them available to a much wider population.
That's a powerful thought, and it really speaks to their ambition to be more than just a profit-driven company.
Right.
They seem to have a genuine desire to improve global health.
I think so too. And it's refreshing to see that kind of commitment, especially in an industry that's often criticized for prioritizing profits over patients.
Absolutely. But let's face it, they're still a business,
Of course.
and investors want to see returns.
They do.
So how do you see these cost-cutting measures potentially affecting their bottom line in the long run?
It's a delicate balancing act.
It is.
They need to cut costs without sacrificing the quality of their research and development.
Right.
If they can find that sweet spot,
Yeah.
it could be a win-win for both the company and for patients.
It's a high-wire act for sure, and it'll be really interesting to see how they navigate it.
Definitely.
But for now, let's shift our focus to a specific product that caught my attention during the earnings call.
Okay.
That personalized cancer vaccine for melanoma.
Oh, yeah, that's a fascinating one.
Can you just walk us through what makes this technology so groundbreaking?
So imagine a vaccine that's tailor-made to attack your specific cancer cells, targeting those unique markers that differentiate them from healthy cells. That's the essence of personalized cancer vaccines.
It sounds almost too good to be true.
It does. It's like science fiction almost.
Yeah.
But it's based on the idea of training your own immune system to recognize and destroy cancer cells.
Okay, that makes sense.
And traditionally, cancer treatments like chemotherapy or radiation target all rapidly dividing cells, right?
Yeah.
Which can lead to those really nasty side effects.
Yeah, the side effects are really bad.
Hair loss, nausea, fatigue, you name it.
Right.
But personalized cancer vaccines aim to be much more precise,
Okay.
targeting only the cancer cells while sparing the healthy ones.
That's amazing. So it's a much more targeted approach
Exactly.
with the potential for fewer side effects.
Hopefully a lot fewer.
What kind of results are they seeing so far in the melanoma trials?
So the data from the phase 2 trial was very encouraging,
Okay.
showing significant tumor shrinkage and improved survival rates compared to the standard treatments.
That's great news.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, the phase 3 trial is fully enrolled, so we should be getting that pivotal data soon.
So potentially some really big news on the horizon.
Oh yeah, this could be a game changer.
What are the key metrics that investors and researchers are going to be looking for in those results?
So the primary endpoint of the trial is overall survival.
Okay.
How long patients live after receiving the vaccine
Right.
compared to those who receive the standard treatment.
Makes sense.
They'll also be looking at progression-free survival,
Okay.
which is how long it takes for the cancer to start growing again,
Okay, got it.
and the overall response rate,
Okay.
which measures the percentage of patients whose tumors shrink significantly.
Okay, so those are all critical measures.
Yeah, those are the key things to watch.
And if the results are positive,
Yeah.
it could have a major impact on the future of cancer treatment.
Oh, absolutely.
Not just for melanoma,
Right.
but potentially for other cancers as well.
Exactly. This technology has the potential to be a real game changer in the fight against cancer.
It's exciting to think about the possibilities.
It really is. It's a whole new frontier.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. There are still many hurdles to overcome,
Oh, for sure.
including regulatory approvals
Right.
and manufacturing challenges.
Yes, scaling up production is always a challenge with these new therapies.
Of course, and we need to be cautious with our expectations.
Always.
But the potential here is undeniable.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
And it's definitely a story worth watching closely.
Agreed.
Now, before we dive into our This Is Not Financial Advice segment,
Let's do it.
where we indulge in some purely speculative trade ideas,
My favorite part.
I want to touch on another aspect of Moderna's strategy that I found intriguing.
Okay, what's that?
Their emphasis on platform technologies.
Oh, yeah, that's a key part of their strategy.
Yeah, can you talk about that a bit more?
Sure. So their platform approach is actually one of their key strengths. It allows them to leverage their core mRNA technology
Right.
across a wide range of therapeutic areas,
Okay.
from vaccines to rare diseases to cancer.
So instead of developing each product from scratch,
Right.
they're building this foundational platform
Exactly.
that can be adapted and applied to different diseases.
It's like a plug-and-play system for drug development.
That's incredibly efficient, isn't it?
Oh, it's incredibly efficient, and it gives them a significant advantage in terms of speed and cost effectiveness.
So they can essentially like plug and play different genetic codes
Exactly.
into their mRNA platform
Yep.
to target specific diseases.
It's like having a versatile toolkit
Yeah.
that you can use to build different houses.
What are the implications of this platform approach for their long-term growth prospects?
Well, it opens up a world of possibilities.
Yeah?
They can rapidly develop and test new therapies, potentially bringing them to market much faster than traditional drug development methods.
It's a fascinating strategy, and it really speaks to their ambition to be a leader in the next generation of biopharmaceuticals.
Well, yeah, they want to be the go-to company for mRNA therapies.
Now, before we let our imaginations run wild with some speculative trade ideas,
Aha, okay.
let's talk about one final piece of the puzzle, the GBS clinical hold on the norovirus vaccine trial.
Yeah, that's definitely something investors and researchers will be watching closely.
For sure.
While Moderna doesn't expect it to impact trial timelines,
Right.
it does raise some concerns about the safety profile of their mRNA platform.
Yeah, a single case of Guillain-Barré syndrome triggering a clinical hold
Right.
does seem a bit extreme, doesn't it?
It does, but it's important to remember that regulators are being extra cautious with new vaccine technologies.
Okay.
It's better to err on the side of safety and
Yeah.
thoroughly investigate any potential adverse events.
I completely agree. Transparency and patient safety should always be the top priority.
Absolutely, no question about it.
But what are the potential ramifications if this investigation reveals a causal link between the vaccine and GBS?
That would be a significant setback, not just for the norovirus vaccine program, but potentially for their entire mRNA platform.
Yeah.
It could erode public trust in their technology
Right.
and make it much harder to get future vaccines approved.
So that the stakes are incredibly high here.
They are. This is a critical moment for Moderna.
Let's hope for a positive outcome,
I hope so too.
both for Moderna and for the millions of people who could benefit from their innovative therapies.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Now with that somber note out of the way,
Uh-huh. Okay.
you ready to inject some levity into our conversation
Always.
with our This Is Not Financial Advice segment?
Let's do it. I'm ready for some speculation.
Let's do it. Hit me with your most outrageous but plausible trade idea based on what we've discussed today.
All right, buckle up. This one's a bit out there.
I'm all ears. What's the play?
Okay, so what if Moderna's personalized cancer vaccine platform is even more successful than anyone anticipates?
Okay.
What if it's not just effective against melanoma,
Yeah.
but against a wide range of cancers?
I like where you're going with this.
We're talking about a potential revolution in cancer treatment.
Yeah.
Like a complete paradigm shift.
So you're thinking Moderna becomes the undisputed leader in personalized cancer vaccines. Their stock goes through the roof.
To the moon.
And early investors
Right.
become biotech billionaires.
Living the dream.
Okay, I like it.
And here's the speculative part.
Okay.
What if they become so dominant in cancer treatment
Yeah.
that they start acquiring other promising biotech companies in adjacent fields?
Oh, wow. So they're not just developing their own therapies.
They're buying up the competition.
They're becoming like a conglomerate
Exactly.
of cutting-edge therapies.
The true healthcare giant.
Yeah.
So our totally irresponsible for entertainment purposes only trade idea is buy a basket of long-dated call options
Okay.
on Moderna stock and a handful of smaller biotech companies working on complementary technologies.
So like gene editing.
Yeah, gene editing. Immunotherapy, stuff like that.
That's a bold move.
It is.
But I can see the logic.
High risk, high reward.
High risk, high reward.
Just like Moderna's entire strategy.
Exactly. But remember, folks,
Yeah.
this is pure speculation.
Purely hypothetical.
Fueled by our caffeine-induced imagination.
And our love of biotech.
And our love of biotech.
This is not financial advice.
Do not bet the farm on this or any trade idea.
Please.
Without doing your own due diligence.
Right.
And consulting with a professional.
A real financial advisor.
A real financial advisor, yes.
Not us.
Not us. We are not qualified.
Now that we've had our fun with speculation, let's zoom out a bit. Think about the broader implications of what Moderna's trying to achieve.
I mean, they're really aiming to rewrite the rules.
They are.
Of the pharmaceutical industry, aren't they?
Yeah, they want to change the game.
Moving from a blockbuster drug model.
Right, the old way of doing things.
To a platform-based approach.
A new way.
Focusing on speed and innovation.
That's the future.
Yeah. It's a risky bet.
Very risky.
But one that could pay off massively.
Oh.
If they succeed.
If they can pull it off, it'll be huge.
I mean, imagine the possibilities.
Yeah.
If they pull this off.
Yeah, imagine.
A world where personalized medicine is the norm. Where we can prevent and treat diseases.
Right.
With much greater precision and efficacy.
That's the dream.
That's the dream.
And Moderna seems to be one of the few companies with the vision,
the technology,
the resources,
and the audacity to pursue it.
They're not afraid to think big.
So it's an exciting time to be following the biotech industry.
It really is.
And Moderna is definitely a company to watch.
Keep your eyes on Moderna.
Closely in the coming years.
Big things are coming.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Moderna's Q4 2024 earnings call, what's the key takeaway for our listeners?
Moderna is at a pivotal moment.
Okay.
They're undergoing this radical transformation from a single product company to a diversified biotech powerhouse with ambitions that could reshape the entire healthcare landscape.
They're not messing around.
They are swinging for the fences.
Big swings.
And there are no guarantees of success.
There never are in biotech.
But the potential rewards, both for the company
and for humanity,
are enormous.
It's a story that's still being written.
It is.
And we can't wait to see what the next chapter holds.
We'll be here to cover it every step of the way.
And we'll be here to break it all down for you.
Absolutely.
Separating the hype from the reality.
That's our job.
And hopefully having some fun along the way.
Always.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
For another insightful and entertaining exploration of the biotech world.